Hi, and welcome. You're listening to the X22 Report. My name is Dave, and this is episode 1514A, and today's date is March 6th, 2018, and the title of the episode is, We Are Approaching the Point Where the Economic Illusion is Going to be Shattered. Let's get into the economic collapse financial news. Now, we've been watching a complete breakdown of the economy, not just here in the United States, but in different countries. Now, Australia, their retailers are continuing to struggle. And they really thought that come January, retail was going to spike and rebound, but the rebound failed. And it looks like during Christmas sales were very, very weak. January retail sales figures disappoint with weak growth across most sectors. The current account deficit blows out by billions to $14 billion. And we see at this point that what we're looking at is the economies around the world of developed nations, they are quickly falling apart. Now, we were meant to believe that the economies around the world after 2008, everything was improving, it was getting better, don't worry about it. What really happened was the central banks, they stepped in and they pumped everything up, just like a drug addict, where they pump the druggie full of drugs. They feel great, everything is fantastic until it all wears off. And as it wears off, you start going through withdrawal. This is what we're seeing right now. They've done as much as they possibly can. And right now, even if they add more stimulus and they create more currency, it's not going to help the situation. The reason why it's not going to help is because they can control the creation of currency, they can control the derivative market, they can control the stock market, they can make deals with different countries where the people of the countries take out loans to purchase cars, go to school, and they can inflate bubbles so people purchase homes. The one thing they can't really do is have people go out, get a nice paying job, and go spend that money. That is their main problem. And this has been their problem since 2008. The job market has been declining. Wages have been declining. And we see at this point that if you don't have that, the spending in retail is not going to happen. The purchases of homes, cars, student loans is going to slow. Remember, in the beginning, it's fantastic. You're using someone else's money. You're borrowing that money to purchase that house. You're borrowing money to purchase that car. You're borrowing money to go to school. But the thing that happens 6-7 years later is that this money comes due, or you need to make payments throughout this time. And if more and more individuals are losing jobs and more people are getting part-time jobs because they lost a job and they're not getting the cost of living raises, well, all these loans, it starts to fall apart. Yes, they can resort to credit cards, which we've seen. They can access their savings. And as we've seen, as we went throughout the recovery period that they've been telling us about, savings has declined rapidly. Credit cards have increased rapidly. And we're coming to a point where the people just don't have work. There's 100+ million people that are completely out of the workforce. They're looking for a job. They would like to have a high-paying job. And salaries have declined since 2008. The high-paying jobs have been shipped out of this country. This is what we are saying. Now, we've been kept in this drugged-up, illusionary economy. And right now, what is happening is it's going to be shattered. And we're at that point where this is being pushed right now. And we can see many different indicators that are showing us signs that we are headed in that direction. One area we need to look at is gold. Once they lose the manipulation, control of the gold market, the precious metals market, you're going to see gold move up. We've seen gold move up quite a bit. Doesn't mean they're not going to try to smash it down. I wouldn't be surprised in a day or two, all of a sudden we see thousands of paper contracts come in and smash it down. And if they don't come in and smash it down and it continually moves up $20, $30, $40, you know they lost control, which means everything is in motion, which means most likely the market's going to come down, the dollar is going to decline even further, we're going to see inflation, we're going to see all of it. But we are seeing many different indicators. If you look at Manhattan, we see the apartment sales in Manhattan, they've been declining. They fell in January to the lowest monthly rate since February of 2012. This is a 6-year low, and it's trending downwards. Everything is declining right now. And what we're seeing is that prices are coming down, sales are coming down, co-ops, condos, they have dropped by 20% in Manhattan. It's all falling apart. Leases are dropping right now. We saw these type of signs back in 2008 in California, and then it came over to the East Coast. We're starting to see this in the big cities where they pumped up the bubbles, and it's starting to fall apart. We see right now U.S. factory orders, they've tumbled. Durable good plunged in January, and we see that U.S. factory orders tumbled by 1.4%. This is the first drop in 6 months. And we're seeing that transportation equipment is down by 10%, non-defense aircraft is down by negative 28%, defense aircraft down by negative 45%, and it goes on and on and on. And what we're seeing is a complete breakdown of the system. Now, the corporate media is out there making a really big deal about tariffs. We talked about tariffs. We discussed what Bush tried to do back many years ago when he was trying to push tariffs on steel and everything like that. And the market, well, that would have corrected. It would have brought the economy down. Trump is putting a lot of pressure on getting rid of what the central bankers have done for years, where the deep state, the central bankers, which are intertwined, they've created these deals that were not a benefit to the people. They were a benefit to themselves. NAFTA and the rest of the trade deals, they all have to go. And everything has to be wiped clean. Now, what's very interesting about these tariffs is Europe is renewing their tariffs on Chinese steel pipes as high as 72%. And do you hear anyone saying a word about this? And the European Commission came out and they explained it had set final duties of between 18 and 35% for 5 years for producers, including Bengang steel plates, Handan iron and steel, and Hess steel. So we can see right now that they already have tariffs. Now, the reason why the central bankers, the deep state, the reason why they didn't do any of this here in this country where they made it very lopsided is because they were pushing their system out of the country to someplace else. And they were doing this on purpose because they knew eventually what they wanted to do, and remember their plan, was to implement TPP, bring down the United States to the rest of the world, the level of the rest of the world, and have the United States as a third world country. The system then would be moved to another country, and they would accept workers from all over the world, and they would not get paid U.S. salaries. They get paid from whatever salary they were getting from their country, which means the U.S. worker would have to lower their requirements, and the entire country would completely change. This was their plan. This is why they've been pushing their agenda all this time, because they knew what they needed to do. They needed to reach that goal of bringing the United States down to the rest of the world. And again, this is being shattered right now. We see Lighthizer right now is saying, listen, the NAFTA talks, they're not going well at all. NAFTA 2.0, it's not going well. They need to agree on roughly 30 chapters. They've only agreed on 6. Now, of course, all the other countries like Canada, Mexico, and the rest, they don't care about making a deal. They already have a good deal. The U.S. does not have a good deal. So in the beginning, Trump didn't want NAFTA, still doesn't. And what the approach he's taking right now is to completely shatter the economic system that was created by the central bank, by the deep state, and he needs to get rid of it. This is exactly what he is pushing for. And you can see by the way the corporate media and everyone is reacting, they don't want this to end. Remember, they love their system. Everything's subsidized. You're getting free money from the central bank. People become very, very wealthy in government. They leave, they come in like, they're making $100,000. All of a sudden, they're worth millions upon millions upon millions of dollars as they leave government. So right now, the system that we're in is being ripped apart, and it's going to be reset. Now, how long is this reset going to last? Well, if the Trump administration and the patriots behind him have their way, they're going to try to make it as easy as possible. If the central bankers win out, it's going to be rough, very difficult, and the system's going to come down very, very hard. But either way, you need to be prepared, because think about it. We're on this system for how many years now? Since the 70s, when we went onto the petrodollar, and now it's being dismantled. And as it's dismantled, we're no longer going to be the reserve currency, which means our way of living is going to change a little bit. I mean, we will readjust. We're going to see inflation as countries dump the dollar, as they dump the treasury bonds, as they dump everything and move to a new system. This is going to be a difficult time for the U.S., just like it was for Russia when the Soviet Union fell. People, couldn't get supplies, credit froze up. It was a difficult time. But if you're prepared and you have food, you have water, you have gold and silver, cryptocurrencies, cash on hand for the beginning stages, you'll be able to weather the storm. That's the whole point of this. So we can see right now, the whole system is going to be shattered, and as we move forward, you're going to see a lot more coming out, and you're going to see that the system is going to start to break down very, very rapidly. So get prepared. Listen, everyone, thanks a lot for listening. Be well, be safe, and especially be prepared. Thanks a lot.